welcome to this video. Today I'm going to give you a tour of my new Google Sheets 12-month calendar to-do list. So this is one Google Sheets spreadsheet and it has 12 tabs, each with a calendar that will get filled automatically. Dates will get filled automatically depending on the first month that you select. So it's initially a blank undated template, and once you set the start month, dates will be filled automatically and then you can just start working on your template. So I'm going to give you a quick overview, and I'm also going to show you some of the things that you can customize. It's very straightforward. So if you're interested, you can just keep watching, and you can find the link to purchase in the description, but you can also just watch this video, get inspired, and build your own layout. So let's get into it. Initially, once you receive the template, everything is going to be blank. I just set a start month as an example. I set it on January 2024, which means that this first tab belongs to January. The second tab will be February, March. So whatever month you set at the beginning will be used to fill all the dates for all these 12 tabs. So you can start on any month that you like. You can start, for example, let's do May 2024. If I do that, then this first tab will belong to May, and then June, July, August. So you get the idea, and you can easily rename these tabs by just double clicking here and adding a new name. So you can do that on every tab, and it's dynamic, so you can start on any month that you like, any year. All you have to do is set that over here, and then the template will adapt accordingly. So once you decide on your start month, and I'm going to do January 2024, you will move on to selecting if you want your weeks to start on a Sunday or on a Monday. So each calendar right now, it's starting on a Sunday, for example, but if I were to switch that to Monday, and then I jump into my monthly tabs, you're going to see that every single calendar is now starting on a Monday. So very important, you need to decide these three things before you start working on your template. If you change them after you start working on your template, whatever you input on each of these sections will stay there, even if these dates are switched around. So very important, you decide this at the beginning, and then once you start working on your template, you don't change it. Now, there's a few other options of things that you can customize, but I'm going to come back to this later. So every single one of these 12 monthly tabs looks exactly the same. I'm going to switch this back so it can start on a Sunday, just for the example. Now, what you see here, and I'm just going to zoom out a bit. This is one big calendar. So I added 6 weeks on each monthly tab just in case, but you can absolutely delete a week if you're not going to use it. What you see here, while I zoom out, is 3 different sections. So this is the first section. This is the second section, and then the calendar is the third section. So each one, I created them with a specific purpose in mind. I'm gonna zoom back in. So this very first section, I created it for routine tasks. So things that you do more than once a week and that you don't want to have to individually add into every single day. So if you're making your bed every day, for example, you don't want to manually add it every single time into every single day. What you can do is you can use this section right here and type in your task, make my bed, and then set the number 7, which means I want to do this 7 times a week. So now after I check all those 7 boxes, I'm gonna reach 100%. But the cool part about this is that you can also set maybe 3 times a week, 2 times a week. Let's do yoga, and let's give that 3 times a week. So once I check 3 boxes, then I reach 100%. If I change this to 4, for example, I'm missing 1 box. So if I check that 1 box, then I'm reaching 100%. So this is meant for routine tasks. So if I wanted to repeat those down here, you can just copy and paste them, and then you can start over. Or you can customize this to the corresponding week. So this section is meant for routine tasks. And as you can see, this progress bar is getting filled automatically as well. So once every task reaches 100%, then my progress bar will reach 100%. So this is meant for routine tasks, and then this one right here is meant for weekly tasks. So you can also just add a number 1 here for any task. If you had a number 1 here, it would be the same as just adding the task over here without the need to include a number. So you can just add the task over here, and once that's done, you can check this box. So anything that needs to get done sometime throughout this week, you can add that over here. And then finally, you get this calendar view. So you can add specific tasks to each of these specific days. So for example, if I add call bank, call vet, and then I check these boxes, this progress bar will update accordingly. So you have that for every single week. And as you can see, you have this drop down over here, and each section has a drop down. So this is fully customizable, and elements will be exactly the same on each of these drop downs. And the place where you add those elements is in the Customize Here tab. you're going to jump into this section right here and you're going to start creating your list. So you have space for up to 50 elements and you can add absolutely anything you want. It can be categories, it can be people. If you're using this calendar for social media, for example, you could add the platform names, you can add status, priorities, anything you like. It's just one big shared drop down between the entire template. So I'm just going to add a few as examples very quickly. So I added home, work, side hustle, self-love, learning. If you have kids, you can also add, if something's urgent, you can add priorities. You could add, as I mentioned, social media platforms if you were using this for social media. If you're using this for school, for homeschooling, teaching, just you can get creative and add any 50 elements that you want in this section so that you don't have to manually type them every single time. So if you want to set it as urgent, then you could just select it. If you want to set something about a side hustle, buy a course, for example. So it's quicker to select it than to manually input things. So every single dropdown will contain a list of those same elements that you added over here, and using it is completely optional. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward. I also added this section over here. It's just a blank section in which you can add anything you like, a little reminder, an affirmation, a quote, anything. My favorite one is what you focus on expands. So if you want to remind yourself of something for the entire month, you can add that here, and every single one of these months will work exactly the same. Now, very important, if I add something here and I check this box, nothing will happen. So for the progress bar to move, there has to be a task in here. So once I add a task, then the progress bar starts taking that row into consideration. So that's an important thing to mention. Now, another cool feature is that right now it's December 2023, December 12th, 2023. So I'm just gonna very quickly switch this to December for the example. And as I mentioned, you should not switch this once you start adding information, because as you will see now, this used to be January. I added everything in here. So the actual text that I added stayed there, but my dates got switched around. So once you decide on a month and once you decide on your Sunday, Monday selection, you need to stick to it if you already started adding information. So the cool feature I mentioned is that right now it's Tuesday, December 2023. And as you can see, I switched this to December and the current day will be highlighted. So this is the current week. Right now it's Tuesday. And then this is the current day. And this will be updated automatically every single day. So you can know where your attention should be going very easily, very quickly. So just to recap, this section is meant for routine tasks. This section is meant for things that need to be done sometime during the week. And then this section is meant for daily tasks. Now, I'm going to show you how you can add additional rows. Right now, every single section has a space for 10 elements, 10 tasks. But if you want to change that, let's say you need more space over here. What you're going to do is you're going to select any number of rows in the middle. So as you can see, I'm skipping this first one and I'm skipping this last one. So you can select, for example, 3 rows. Somewhere in the middle, you right click and you select insert 3 rows above. So whatever number of rows you select is the number of rows that you're going to be able to add. So if you want 5 rows, then all you need to do is select 5 rows in the middle, right click, and select insert 5 rows above. So once you do that, this is going to happen. You're going to see these cells turn red. So the second step is you're just going to copy any of these cells in the middle. You're going to copy it. You're going to select your red cells and you're going to paste. So once you do that, your row will work properly. So this is one of my new rows. I'm just going to add a task. I'm going to set it to 2 days. And now it's working fine. So it doesn't matter where you do it, as long as you are always selecting a row in the middle and you're never touching the first one or the last one. So I could add a row down here, for example. I'm going to select that, insert 1 row below. This happens, so all I need to do is copy this formula and paste it over here. And now it's going to work fine. So I'm just going to show you very quickly how you can test that it works fine. So just so you can take it into consideration, whenever you add a row, it's going to get added on the entire week. So as you can see, it was inserted over here as well, and it was inserted over here as well. So just take that into consideration when you're adding rows. It's better to add them down here, for example, right before the last one. If you notice you're running out of space, you can just select any number of rows above the last one, right click, and insert 3 rows below. So you can choose to insert them below or above, and then just copy and paste. So I did that a few times and hopefully it's clear now. I know you will also want to know how you can change the colors on the template. Every single time I try to do a different one, I just keep coming back to pink. I love it so much. But you can totally change it very fast. All you have to do is click on Format, Theme, and then on this button right here that says Customize. So the very first color you're gonna see is the highlight color that I use to highlight the current day and the current week. So if I change it to purple, you're going to see how that highlight changes throughout the template, and then you can do the same thing for every other color. What I suggest you do is that if you're seeing a darker shade of pink, you change it for a darker shade of whatever color you're choosing. So maybe let's do this one. And then if it's a light shade, you also change it for a light shade, so fonts don't get lost. And then let's do this one, maybe this purple over here. And as you can see, the entire template changed to that color. So once you see how everything looks, you can choose to make changes, maybe something like this. So just remember, this first one is the one that's gonna belong to the highlights. Right now they're getting lost because I also picked purple, but let's say we highlighted them on yellow, for example, then you're gonna see the current day is highlighting on that color over here. So that's how you change the overall theme throughout the entire template all at once. So I just undid my changes, and I'm gonna show you another cool thing that you can do with this template. So let's say you have March right here. So we're gonna call this March 2024. And then let's say you want to keep maybe 2 monthly tabs for March. So what you can do is you can just go ahead, pick the month, and make sure it's empty if you don't want any information to be pulled over into the new tab. So let's say you take March, for example, you right click on the tab name and you click on duplicate. So once you do that, you're going to get a second copy of the tab March, and they're going to be completely independent from each other. So you could use one for your personal things, for example, and then you could use this one. You can just double click and rename it, and you can use this one for business, or you could use it for social media, you could use it for schoolwork, whatever it is that you like. If you want to create multiple tabs of the same month to keep things separate, you can do that by just right clicking and selecting the option duplicate. And as an additional feature, and this is completely optional, you can also choose to change the color of the progress bars. So the way I created it is you can assign 2 different colors. One color for when the progress bar hasn't reached 100% yet, and then a different color for when it has reached 100%. So this is a place where you change that, these 2 cells right here. So this is color 1 before reaching 100%, and I added a few color examples over here. So if I were to copy this yellow color hex value and I paste it here, then you're gonna see this turned yellow. So this is the color that my progress bars are gonna look like before they reach 100%, and then this is what they're gonna look like once they reach 100%. So if I jump into the example, you're gonna see that none of these have reached 100%, so they're yellow. If I check this box, for example, it reached 100%, so it turned green. That one turned green as well. So that's something you can do, and you can change that anytime. Let's say you want it to be gray instead of yellow. So if I copy and paste that value, then the ones that haven't reached 100% turned gray. And you can customize that color to any color you like. All you need to do is input a hex value right here. And the way you find that on any spreadsheet very easily, you can just click on any random cell that's empty. You click on the fill color, this bucket right here, and then you click on this plus sign that says add custom color. So you can just move this around, play with it, pick a color. And then once you're happy with it, you can see it right here. You can just copy this entire value. You click on cancel, and then you go ahead and you paste it here. So as you can see, that switched color, and if I come back here, every single bar that hasn't reached 100% is going to look like that. And if you don't want that switching effect, you can just keep the same value on both of these cells, and then your progress bars will always be the same color. And one final thing, right now I'm seeing this zoomed out. That's why I can see multiple weeks in just this one view without having to scroll. So there's 2 ways you can zoom in or zoom out. You can use this section over here, or you can use the browser's zoom. I'm using Google Chrome right now, and up here you can see it, but above this there's 3 little vertical dots. So if I click on those, I get a bunch of options, so I can zoom in or zoom out the entire browser window. So as you can see, everything is getting smaller, including these buttons right here, including the text. So if I zoom out, the entire window is getting smaller. So that's one way in which you can see more things in your view all at once without having to scroll. And this is 100%. And then you can also use this over here and it will zoom in or zoom out just this content. So this is how it looks like with 100%, just in case you already have the file and are wondering why yours looks bigger than mine. It's just the zoom. So that's it for this video. I hope you like it. I hope you find it useful. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I love talking to you and helping, and I'm gonna leave the link to purchase this file in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching.